Hey guys, what is going on? So in today's video, I'm very excited because I'm going to be reviewing another pair of Willies boots. That's right, Willies made in the Philippines boots. The only Filipino bootmaker I've ever reviewed. If you guys remember these bad boys in Oliva horse rump, these are Willies Loggers boots. These are the boots that get the most likes when I post them on Instagram by far. For some reason, these always go viral. I can't explain it, but they're just a very, very attractive boot. No questions about it. These bad boys in navy Chromexcel, I'm going to be reviewing soon as well, but a little sneak peek. These are also Willies. These were sent to me by my buddy Mario, aka Boot Reaper on Instagram. Thank you so much, Mario, for these. So these are Horween's black Chromexcel Moctoe boots from Willies, and I'm going to get into the specs in these in a second, but real quick, bottom line up front, these were sent to me by my buddy Ian, known on Instagram as Powerhouse ME. He's got a great boot collection. He's got Grant Stone, he's got Fortis, he's got Jackrabbits. Full disclosure, these are for sale on my website, dalesleatherworks.com. They are a size 41, and Ian is asking $300 for them. He originally paid $433 and barely wore them. These were a little small on him. For that reason, I offered to sell them on my site for him so that he could move them along, and I will take care of the shipping and handling and all that as well. And as always, if there are any kilties in my shop that you'd like me to include, DM me on Instagram or email me. Just let me know which set of kilties you'd like and I will throw those in complimentary. So I also have black Chromexcel kilties. I have some new natural Chromexcel kilties in, as well as a slew of new SB foot leathers available on my website, dalesleatherworks.com. All right, anyways, so let's get to these boots. And so once again, these are in a size 41. They hurt my feet to look at them because they do look too small for me. I'm a 9 Brannick. I wear an 8.5 in most US boot brands, and yeah, these would definitely be too small for me. These are a taller Moctoe boot. Willies does not have a firm naming system for his boot models yet. The best I could tell on his website was that he just calls these Moctoes. Now, by far the most stunning feature about these boots is, of course, the knife sheath that is on the outer ankle of each boot. We've got two, so one here, and here, just to serve as an example, so here I included my WESN blade. This is my WESN ALLMAN, fully titanium, best blade I've ever owned. I will leave a link in the description below if you're interested in shopping WESN blades. They are by far my favorite knife company, and they're also great dudes. I talk to them on occasion, and they're also into boots. They're also into heritage made stuff and everyday carry stuff, the same stuff that I'm into. So go give them a look if you need a blade. These are well worth the money. I've owned 4 of their blades so far and love every single one of them. They all get a ton of use. And yeah, like I said, if I could only have one and done blade, it would be this ALLMAN in titanium. And as you can see, it fits perfectly into the built-in knife sheath on these boots. You know, starting leather work myself recently, I can't help but start to ponder how easy that would be for me to install one of these on some of my own boots. That might be something to try. I do have black Chromexcel and natural Chromexcel, and I could probably fairly easily install some of these on some of my Chromexcel boots. I might have to try that. That is a super cool feature. Really harkens to that whole like Vietnam era jungle boot aesthetic / utility. Really like a commando utility, something that I would have grown up idolizing. So for that reason, I think that is just a killer feature. By far my favorite feature of these. And speaking of Vietnam, Ian also illuminated me to a fun fact. That is that the word boondocker comes from World War II military slang for a jungle or a wild, heavily wooded area. It's derived from the word for mountain in the Philippine language known as Tagalog. So, in other words, the Tagalog word for mountain is bundok. So boondocker comes from that word, bundock. I had no idea. That is super cool. The boondocks is an American expression from the Tagalog / Filipino word bundok, which means mountain. It originally referred to a remote rural area, but now it is often applied to an out-of-the-way area considered backward and unsophisticated by city folk. It can also occasionally refer to a mountain in both Filipino and American context. So there you go. All your beloved boondockers out there, you guys who love those Viberg boondockers and Oakstreet Bootmakers boondockers and all those other boondockers out there, Junkard makes some. It's essentially a plain toe rough out boot. Typically speaking, a boondocker is going to be a fairly simple plain toe boot, typically a rough out, has very simple patterning, typical to World War II era trench boot type. That's a little fun trivia for you there. All right, and one really cool thing is on the inside of the box from Willies, it's in Tagalog, but Ian translated it for me. It says Joy Ian is his Facebook page name. Joy and Ian. Salamat sa pagtangkilik sa sapatos na gawang Pinoy. It means, thank you for your support and patronage on shoes made by Filipinos. Zapatos is probably the word for shoes, because I know that because that's a Spanish cognate. Zapatos. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. Those of you Tagalog speakers, please rate my Tagalog. How did I do? Let's try it again. Salamat sa pagtangkilik sa sapatos na gawang Pinoy. I probably sound like a native. Let's get into the rest of the specs. So one thing that I really like that Willies does is he triple stitches the shaft to the vamp with typically a straight edge. Some makers do like a more curvaceous edge or like you see how Grant Stone does it. They actually triple stitch down the quarter to the vamp, and then they have a separate back heel stay here. Yeah, I really like the straight aesthetic there of the shaft adjoining the quarter and the vamp area here. Super cool. I really like Willies' pattern execution. He does a really good job. And then we've got a back heel strip here, which encompasses the back heel stay as well as up some of the shaft, which leads into a really cool pull tab that actually goes into the shaft as opposed to just being stitched on the outside of the shaft. This actually goes into it, which is good. It's good for like slipping your heel into there and getting a good slide down into there. The tongue is fully gusseted with black Chromexcel. This is T-Core Chromexcel, by the way, and you could tell that because you see the natural color of the leather on the other side of the tongue, which means that this black Chromexcel is only surface level paint, more or less. As you scratch and as you wear through, it will start to expose more of the natural undertones beneath the surface layer. That was happening to my Grant Stones in black Chromexcel. These are my Grant Stone diesels in black Chromexcel. However, I went over them with Armstrong's all natural boot wax, and it actually covered up that T-core effect. But these were T-coring pretty heavily there for a second. I really loved them. So let's see. Yeah, this appears to be a hand-stitched Moctoe, and you could tell that by this protrusion here, this protrusion of leather here in between the two stitches. That's also how you see Grant Stone did it on their Ottawa boot model as well. We've got this protruded out layer of leather on the hand stitched mock. Very beautiful. I love it. We've got a 270 degree Goodyear welt with a storm welt. Love the look of a storm welt. We've got a really beautifully done Cuban heel with 4 layers of veg tan leather in the heel stack. And then we've got a really thick midsole of veg tan, and then a 100% full grain leather insole as well. On the sole, we've got a Dr. Sole Original Super Grip outsole. Absolutely love these things. These are by far some of the most durable, most grippy, and most beautiful outsoles in existence. Yes, they are nailed down. And the last is a really nice, looks like a Munson last. Really beautiful rounded out shape on the toe there. Really good intersection here at the waist. Really narrows out really nicely. And then the heel seems to be a little bit more narrowed out as well. The back heel stay is definitely structured, and so is the toe. Feels to be very well structured. I'm not sure if there's Celastic in there or if they use leather stiffener, but there is definitely something holding that structure in place. Yeah, so we've got 10 antique brass eyelets all the way up, and what appears to be possibly Pisgah range laces. These are some nylon, super duper tough round nylon laces. My buddy Angel at Nobleman's Apothecary really loves those laces. He champions them all day long. They're not my particular aesthetic personally. I personally like rawhide laces and or cotton, obviously. The nylon, to me, doesn't complement Chromexcel very well. However, I think in this case, the olive nylon really complements the black Chromexcel very, very nicely. Not to mention, they're super duper tough as well. So a lot of guys are into these laces. I'm not knocking them entirely. They're just not exactly my thing. Like I said, I really like a good rawhide. Willies Leathers Boots, absolutely phenomenal. His latest post was an 8-inch capped toe service boot on the Munson last. Absolutely stunning. Once again, he doesn't have a website. You kind of have to reach out to them on Instagram to get a build going. You very much have to talk to them and get what you want in the works. But yeah, he's been working on some absolutely wild builds lately. Looks like he did one in shrunken bison. Wow, it looks like there's a double strap around the ankles and a lineman patch. Wow, those look absolutely wild. Yeah, Willie did post recently about 7 weeks ago. They've been overwhelmed by both their boot restoration services as well as their boot builds, and so for that reason they did have to take a temporary pause on everything until they got all caught up. Now, I could definitely relate as a small business owner myself. I find myself in this position quite often. Sometimes the bag orders, actually I don't have any bag orders right now, so that's great. But sometimes I get sort of buried in bag orders and it starts to get a little overwhelming, and then I start agreeing to projects that I think could be simple without considering the workload that I already have. So it's one of those things you just gotta kind of figure it out as you go. There is no simple answer. You know, orders come in very randomly, very sporadically, and so it's very difficult to pivot, especially like in my case, I'm doing the videos, I'm fulfilling orders myself, I'm sourcing new leathers, ordering new leathers for kill tees, I'm constantly on the hunt for new insole leather, and so at any given point I'm juggling like a lot, and so I understand how they could get overwhelmed. Willie's also posted a boot. It looks like a boondocker. It's a plain toe, looks to be like a natural or a coyote roughouts with an absolutely wild shin guard on there. That is super cool. Willie can do it all, and he's a super nice guy. I really like talking to him. He's done so many incredible builds so far. Norwegian split toe boot in color 8 Horween Chromexcel and Dr. Sole Urban Explorer sole and heels. He also does engineers. Yeah, Willie's can do it all. Super great maker. The majority of his business seems to be done on Facebook. He seems to really have a large following and a lot of communication living on his Facebook page. I actually don't use Facebook myself anymore, really. I mean, I have an account, but I haven't really touched it in a really long time. I really don't like using it. That's just me personally. I do not like Facebook. For reference, my buddy Ian, these size 41s were too small on him. His perfect fit is a Grantstone 8D. So if that's any indication, these 41s are supposed to be equivalent to a US 8D. However, they seem to be more consistent, probably with a 7.5 Grantstone. So if you wear Grantstone 7.5, I'd say that these would be the perfect fit for you. These are just a half size small for Ian. The 8D in Grantstone fits him perfectly. So I would say, yes, once again, if you wear US boots in a 7.5D, if you wear Alden 7.5, Viberg 2030, Last 7.5, any of those brands that run pretty large, then these 41s will fit you perfectly. So anyways, once again, for sale on my site, $300. Check them out. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let's keep the love of boots alive. I will see y'all in my next video.